Mm-hmm.
John, do you put any stock? I guess some of the guys are upset. Obviously, the Josh Norman comments. I think maybe DJ kind of chimed in on some of this. Chris Thompson, guys, sort of upset about the fan support. It never really bothers me because all players want unwavering support, 100% of the time. So to me, it's like no big deal. It's pretty standard. But they seem pretty upset about it all.
Well, I think they've noticed it a lot this year, and it has been noticeable. I mean, I think the surprise to me is when Green Bay comes to town, Dallas comes to town, you expect a big contingent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that they're getting it every week now when there's a lot of Falcons fans or a lot of Panthers fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's some of the stuff that's probably driving them nuts. And I don't know, the hard part is fans know why they're not going. I don't think players really understand why they're not going. They just know they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think you can look at it and say, both sides have a point. I mean, it is an expensive place, and now there are other places that are expensive as well. There are places that are bad stadiums as well, and people are going. But, just the Redskins have kind of decided not to sell on the secondary market, with the discounted tickets and all that. It's going to make it harder to fill. They're trying to honor their season ticket holders by doing that. It is, and then you add up all the other reasons, and, we all know that you hear it on social media from some of the fans with their thoughts and feelings toward the organization and why they're not going. So there are a lot of reasons, and everybody's got their own, and if it's your reason, it's a good reason. But for players, all they see is a bottom line in this situation.
Right.
So, and it is, if you're a player, you want it to be, you want your home stadium to be a place that's feared to come and gives you energy and all that. That's what they would want. Who doesn't want that?
Right. You'd think it'd be a little bit more support because, just go back to 2012. It wasn't that long ago, and this town was on fire, right? But
yeah, well,
they just, with this team, people just aren't buying in. The offense is so anemic that people are just like, you know what, I'm going to wait. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, I think that's definitely part of it. I'm not. Listen, it's hard for me to say because I'm paid to go to every game.
Right, of course.
I don't have to make the decision to spend several $100s to go to a game. So I'm not going to I'm not going to criticize at all because that's not my job to criticize people who are paying money. But I do think it does seem like there's a lack of buying in because of that offense. And you look around the league, it's like the league is. This year you can look at that. It's kind of exciting with the way the Rams are playing, the Saints, the Chiefs, and these guys are winning in an old-fashioned way. And can they sustain that? I think that's the hard part, but they are winning. And, we've kind of gone here from saying, well, we want them to win to, well, they have to win better.
Mm-hmm.
They're 6-3. That's the bottom line. And, but it's not an exciting style of ball. So I think what this team needs to do, if you're going to play this way, I think you're going to have to keep winning, obviously. And then I think you have to do something in the playoffs to get people truly excited about what might come. And listen, Alex Smith is not a guy who's going to generate a ton of excitement, and that's not a knock on him. It's just the way his game is. And what he does well, which, one of the things is not turning the ball over. It's
right.
kind of hard to sell season tickets on, come watch us not turn it over.
Right.
And so that's again, that's not a knock. It's just reality. And I think if you're a lot of places, like if you're a Cleveland fan, you hope Mayfield. That's, so you're buying into the present because the future could be really good.
Plus he's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And so, again, the goal here is your goal in this league is to win games. And they have. And while they have been blown out a couple times, they've won. They're 6-3. And, is that good enough to get people there? They can answer that on their own. But but I do think you're right. I think it's not the most exciting style of ball, but, so it's going to be harder to generate the level of excitement that I think other teams may already be feeling.
But I will say this, John, I have learned, as being a lifelong football fan, it has never been more obvious to me than it has been this year how valuable not turning the football is. Alex Smith has really driven that point home for me anyway.
Well, look at the other day. Fitzpatrick throws for 400 yards?
Yeah.
3 points.
3 turnovers.
Smith has a $178, and now they only got 16, but they got they did get the win because this is a stat that I like to point to. This year, there have been only 4 drives that the opposing team has started in Redskins territory. Just 4. That's like
huge.
second or third. It's second or third in the NFL. Last year, there were 23 such drives. So this, to me, is not like, I think the defense is playing well, but I don't view them yet as a shutdown defense. And I think they can build toward that. I think they have parts, but they don't have that Khalil Mack. They don't have, you know what I mean? So I don't know that they're at that level. They are a good defense. And when you take a good defense and you force teams to drive 75 yards most of the time, it is difficult.
Right.
Teams are going to make mistakes, and that's what they're doing. So the combination of the turnovers and Tress Way and his gunners, I'm going to give them credit, Danny Johnson, Jehu Chesson, because I think they do a good job too, but that combination has helped overall. And there are a lot of, like, you know, in the last couple of years, they could throw the ball, but they didn't play good defense. So there's some special teams breakdowns. So they're kind of the opposite of what they've been. But yeah, no, the lack of turnovers is massive. Then I think the other stat I found, like, in the 5 years that Smith was in Kansas City, the Chiefs were, like, I think second behind New England in terms of number of turnovers, fewest number of turnovers. And you definitely can trace that. That is one thing he does well. And it's not to say he can't do other things better or that you don't want more, but that is one area that he helps.
Mm-hmm.